Hi, this is Dr. Bosch, and I thought I would show you how to use modified mastering for your labs. And there are two of them that are on modified mastering in lab guide number 1. So after you finish lab 27, which is in your lab manual, you'll want to go on to do, I believe the first one's a Physio EX lab. So let's see how you do that. So here's my modified mastering site. You do need an access code. And you get on. So these are the two. I wish there was only one, but it just depends how you bought the access card, whether you're on the textbook or you're on the, or here's the textbook or the lab manual. If you're not sure, try them both and one will work. So I'll just click on this one and up comes modified mastering. And you want to go to the study area. See on the left? Now, if you have an e-text, if you have the textbook electronically, it's right there. There's some other things here. Actually, I don't use any of this because we have the Canvas course, so don't worry about any of that stuff. But the e-text and the study area are helpful. So let's hit study area. And you got to hit launch the study area. And we want to do the Physio EX first. So here it is. So if you look to scroll down, there's Physio EX and then the exercises. So we'll go to that. And we're starting on exercise 3. Well, let's see. No, it's 4. I'm sorry, I got the wrong number. 3, I think, is the pig. So exercise 4, and we're really just doing this first activity. We're not doing these other ones. So the entire lab is activity 1. So you just click on there, and you have to look at some objectives of this. Some of this stuff is also in the back of your lab manual, so you can read it there, you can read it here, and work your way through here. You may get to the point where you have to answer a question. So this tells you all the equipment you're using, so you know what you're doing. And you may have to answer some questions to get to the lab. So which the following statements about metabolism? Well, I don't want to do this for you. Anyway, we'll continue. In fact, I'll just hit next and skip these. I think you're allowed to skip them if you don't want to. And then just hit submit. I'll never see that. And then here comes the lab. And then basically just follow these directions. And again, this is in your lab manual in the back in the blue pages, and it's here. And so just very carefully, it says drag the normal rat into the chamber to find its basal metabolic rate. So we're taking the normal rat, we're sticking them in the chamber, and then just keep following the directions. If you don't answer the questions in here, it won't let you move forward. But if you answer the questions and read it carefully, you'll go on and do this lab. Okay. So that's the Physio EX lab. For the, I'll go all the way back to study area now. I'll launch it one more time. For the pig, it's under this PAL. Think of the pig as your PAL, Practice Anatomy Lab. And again, you click on there and click on again, Practice Anatomy Lab. And we're using the fetal pig because that's what you would have done if you were in class. So I'm going to click on fetal pig. And we're starting out with the endocrine system. So fetal pig endocrine system. And here's your first picture. Now on your lab guide, it asks you to check off once you've identified the various structures on the pictures. So here you're looking for the thyroid and the thymus. The nice thing is that these are all marked. You can say show labels. It'll show you exactly what everything is. You can hide the labels to try to remember it. Kind of just click on things to show up. And on your practical exam, I actually take a picture of these and put them on your practical and ask you about them. So make sure you actually are seeing them and not just in blue, but do hide the show labels and hide labels that you can actually see what it looks like without the blue on the actual structures. And you'll work through these. So there's 8 of these pictures, I believe. And then, wait, it just starts over again. I ask you to do the quiz. Now, I don't record your grade or anything, but this is just really good practice. And so, which structure is highlighted, you got to remember what that looks like, answer it, then go on to the next question and work your way through. It's just a check of what you're seeing. And again, some of these will be on your practical. So you really want to know what you're looking at. Learn them by looking at the various pictures and then kind of go through this quiz as many times as you want to really understand it. Okay, so that's the third lab. That's the fetal pig lab. So just while we're in this area, I'll show you again, launch the study area. There's a lot here. You can study you have animations and videos, and some of these are for the chapters you're using, some are not. Let's see. Yeah, this is mostly from Bio 201 for the animations there. But art labeling activities, if you go to the right chapter. So here's the heart, the blood vessel. So nothing on endocrine, but you can take a look at this as well. It just gives you some other information when we're studying the heart. It lets you kind of label things. And so show labeled figure, and you get all labels, and you can hit it again or reset it, and they're all gone. And then you try to drag these over. So if you drag the apex to the top, it won't work. It'll just go back, right? But if you drag it to the right area, it'll stay. Okay. So again, that was under the study area, the art labeling. There's a lot here. You can try any of these. There's some practice tests and quizzes, interactive physiology, some more stuff about the lab manual, kinds of, just some more information on labs you're doing, some lab videos. If you're really not getting the lab at all, just check that out. And I've had, not everyone uses all these things, but I've had students in the past, say, oh, it really helped me out to look at those videos before I did the lab, or it really helped me out to do the animations. It looked like the animations were mostly for 201 though. And then some practice tests and quizzes. That's all under study area. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Maybe one more time I'll show you this. So you just hit launch the study area. Here's the Physio EX. That's the first endocrine lab you'll be doing. And then here is the fetal pig labs, practice animal anatomy lab, or the PAL. So this button and this button will allow you to do the modified mastering. Now, keep in mind you're putting all your answers on the lab guide. In fact, let's get that a minute. Let's see. Here are the lab guides. So here's lab guide 1, the first one you're working on. And as I said, lab 27 is in your manual. So it actually gives you some page numbers. There's some pre-lab questions to do. You want to get to know those really well. Those are very good questions to help you understand the lab. And then for this one, you do have to get the slide PDF, which is also in the module week 1, in order to draw these. Be sure that you draw these very well. They should really look like the slide, and that you label everything and just write, have a straight line to follicular cells, a straight line to the follicles themselves, and then a straight line to parafollicular. If you're not finding these, then do look in the lab manual or other sources. Your textbook will have it, to know what they look like. In other words, you want to not only be able to draw this, but know what all these things are. If you're not seeing these things, you're not looking in the right place on the slide, right? Yeah, the slide has lots of things on it. It's kind of like if you had a picture from the sky of your neighborhood, but really all you want to do is show your house. You'd have to ignore everything else and then just, focus in on the house. That's the same way that these labs work. The slides have lots of stuff on them, blood vessels and muscle and nerves and stuff, but you have to focus on the parathyroid gland, on the thyroid gland, and these other structures. And notice there are some questions underneath. We do want to know what hormones these various cells make. These are all endocrine glands with hormones. So be sure that you are figuring that out. What the alpha cells make, what the beta cells make. As you can see, this lab really follows the um, lecture quite closely. We made these labs to really help you understand the endocrine system better. So you're not only seeing and drawing the actual cells that make the hormones, but you're talking about what the cells produce. Okay, so don't skip anything. That's when you're doing these lab guides, there should be no blanks anywhere. Even here, once you're familiar with the location of the endocrine glands, make sure you sign it. That's not just a yuck yuck thing. You do want to put your initials there that you have done that. And there's a group challenge on page 404. I know you're not in a group unless you are communicating with others in the class, but you can do that too. Oh, I can make this a little bigger here. That's okay. Then the homework, be sure that you actually go to the lab manual at there's questions at the end, and you have to do those. So basically all of them, I think, for this lab, questions 1 through 15. When you're done with this lab, you'll take a picture of all these pages upright, in focus. So lay them on a nice flat table and make sure they're in focus and upright before you take them. Make sure they're in order. So make sure the first thing I see is page 1, the second thing I see is page 2, and then page 3, and all the way through. So you need a picture of every page. And then you're going to take a picture of the questions that are in the lab manual. So it's a big file, but you're making a PDF of it. And so you have a lot of JPEGs made into one PDF. And then so you really only have one item, one file that you're putting into the Dropbox in the assignment section of Canvas. It'll have all the pages of the lab guide. That's what you're looking at right here. And then all the pages from the lab manual. So these can be 20 some pages sometimes by the time you're done. Now you're taking several days to do this, but as I noted in my email, you don't want to wait till the due date to start this, and you can see why. So because you got this one lab to do and do all the pictures and some questions, and you have another lab where you're going online. Remember, this is the endocrine system one I just showed you. So you're answering questions as you're doing the lab. So you don't have to actually write in the lab in Modified Mastering while you're doing it. You put all your answers in here. And so this is for activity 1, there's some pre-lab questions, some prediction questions, like what do you think is going to happen? And then some more pre-lab questions. So these are all things you should try to do before you start the lab so you understand it well. And then you actually fill out this chart as you do the lab. And the instructions are all there. And in fact, a lot of these numbers will just pop up and show you, but you do have to actually write them down in here. Now, some people do type these labs. The only problem is the drawing. So you may have to put the drawings on a separate piece of paper or just, make a picture of that. It's a little easier to write this out, but if you want to type it, that's fine. Just make sure everything is there. You don't skip anything. And then, so here's the questions in the lab book. There'll always be questions in the lab book. If you find yourself ready to turn in a lab and you haven't done questions from the lab book, you forgot to do something. And I'll tell you that. I'll say, you lost 5 points because you didn't do the questions at the end of the lab. So at the end of every single lab are these questions, and they're always at the end. So here's the end of the first lab. It says do review questions 1 through 15 for lab 27. And then over here, it's the end of this PhysioX lab. Do these questions. Activity 1, questions 1 through 13. Then here's the fetal pig lab. And again, there's always pre-lab questions and then the lab itself. It says check off below when you noted it. So when you found the thyroid, put a little check mark there. Don't leave these blank. Sometimes people just ignore those, but then you lose points. So I wanted to know that you actually found the adrenal gland, check it or put your initials there, check it or put your initials, and then you take the quiz. And at the end of this, there's also some lab questions to do. So there are only 5 for the fetal pig lab. Okay, I hope this was helpful and good luck with the lab. Do contact me if you have any problems.